Okay, we're recording. Ready, go, Greg.
Okay, we're going to start now, are we?
Right now.
Right now. Well, good morning, swappers and guests. It's a late Greg Elder this morning, but ready to fight. So, hello. A special mention, our guest speaker, Jay Allen this morning. Is Jay with us on the call?
Not yet.
That's it, okay. And a special mention to Yvonne and Adele for our 5 minutes this morning. Morning, Yvonne.
Hi.
You got two. And a special mention to our elderly member, Charlie Nichols, previous president. Morning, Charlie.
We've got Derek.
Good morning.
Glad to see you.
Morning, late Greg.
What was that, Charlie?
Good morning, Mr. Aldred. Hello, Susan. How are you?
Hello, I'm well.
All right. Why don't we sort of kick off into thoughts for the day? And the head of the queue is actually old grumpy Charlie Nichols. You're first off.
Oh, me.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm going to combine my thought of the day with my gratitude thought. And my gratitude thought is that a lot of us know Serena, my daughter, Serena Burnell.
Yep.
She just won gold over the weekend with at the Inter Nations Bowls Championship. So she got gold for that. And her husband also got gold for that. So I'm very pleased about that. And her mantra is good, better, best. I shall never rest until my good is better and my better best. So that's my thought of the day.
It's a good one. A good old Charlie. Old as you. Susan Cuthbert. Have we got Susan on the call?
We do.
Oh, there we go.
Morning, Susan.
Hello there. Actually, good afternoon for me. That's all right.
Yesterday.
I'm still on Monday. You guys are on Tuesday. Okay, so this is actually a quote from Queen Elizabeth II, and I think it's very fitting, seeing as we've got the coronation coming up shortly.
Yes.
It is often the small steps, not the giant leaps, that bring about the most lasting change.
Good.
Very good.
And now that I think about it, Charlie, good morning, Jeremy. Happy birthday, Jeremy, by the way.
Thanks, man.
Charlie,
Happy birthday.
You're the thought judge for this morning, seeing you bright and astute this morning. Alert.
Oh, no, can we start all over again then?
They tell us I could have breezed up to Charlie.
Oh, you can still do that.
Do that?
All over the shop. All right, Martin Kennedy, good morning.
Good morning, swappers and guests. Excuse my attire. I had a car accident just recently. Somebody did a hit and run, and I've got a very sore neck for whiplash. My thought for the day is a man with experience is never at the mercy with a man. Never at the mercy of a man with an argument.
Is that your dressing gown you're sitting in?
Correct.
Oh, okay, right, okay. I was going to have a crack at you, Martin, but I won't. Stacey, is Stacey on the call this morning?
Yes, I'm here.
Where are you? I've lost you.
I'm right here.
There you are. Morning.
Can't see me. Hello. How is everybody?
Hi.
My thought for the day is take care of your nutrition. And don't just eat really well and healthy, like eat salads and stuff. Actually look at the actual levels of each of your vitamins and minerals. Take care of your nutrition, because nutrition takes care of your health.
Very true. You listening to that, Charlie?
Very good. Yes, I'm having an almond croissant as we speak. Almonds are good for you, aren't they?
Almonds are good for you, yes.
Yvonne, you're next in the queue. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, actually, we've got two Yvonne. So,
Yvonne, sorry, not me. Yvonne Collier. We have come across each other many times. It's good to see you again. It was you that he was talking about. Okay.
Lovely to see you, Yvonne.
You too.
Yeah. Oh, right. So yes. Happy days. We're just back from holiday. So like yesterday, Okay, life is a challenge, meet it. Life is a dream, realize it. Life is a game, play it. And life is love, enjoy it.
Beautiful. Thank you, Yvonne.
Thank you.
Now, Yvonne number 2.
Reporting for duty.
Your thought for the day, if you've got one for us.
Oh gosh. Thought for the day.
We can come back to you.
I've got it. It's coming to me now. Do whatever you like, because those who matter won't mind, and those who mind won't matter.
Thank you for
I
that.
like that.
All right, young Derek Rowden, all the way from the UK.
Hello there. Good evening, good night. I mean, I should be in bed by now. It's 5 to 11 now. Anyway, I'm enjoying myself over here. Greg, you'll come over here sometime.
I'm due for a visit.
I hope you come and see us. Anyway, I'd like to share something with you which I learned a long time ago. So nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we've been hearing that one for quite a few years, Derek.
That's right. That was an old goodie, that one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Donna Ferguson. Have we got Donna?
Yes, you do. My first time here, so thank you everybody for the warm welcome. I would say dreams, fear is the biggest dream stealer there is out there, and when we look at the opportunities that come our way, often there is fear attached to the uncertainty. So, you know, when you go into a JOB, you are given on-the-job training. So why not just jump in if it feels right, and then you can learn as you go.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Donna.
Yes.
Anne Carlson, you're on stage.
Okay, great. This one was by James Alberti, and I just needed a little push on procrastination. So this hit me the other day. He slept beneath the moon. He basked beneath the sun. He lived a life of going to do and died with nothing done.
Ooh, have you noted that one, Charlie?
Yes, as a closet procrastinator, I did.
Have we got Marie on the call? Marie. No. Okay. Have we got Rod on the call? No.
Oh, he gave his apologies. I believe he was going to make it and then couldn't. It was last minute this morning, I think.
Okay. Well, Harriet, the spotlight's on you now.
Thank you. Good morning, all. Welcome to people who haven't been here before. We're an interesting group of entrepreneurs, hopefully internationally. My name is Harry, and I play in real estate every day. And my thought for the day is, don't chase success. Decide to get better every day. Do great work, and success will find you.
Yes, it's a good one.
Like that.
Jenny. No, not on the call. Okay. Mr. Jeremy.
Good morning.
Morning.
Jeremy Britton from Boston Trading Co., where we make crypto investing safe and simple for everyone. And yes, it was my birthday on Sunday, and I decided to have a whole birthday weekend. So told my lovely girlfriend it was my birthday on Saturday as an April Fool's prank, and she was wonderful to me all day, and then had Sunday as well. So all good. My thought of the day was given to me by a friend who's from California, and he must have thought I was looking a bit down one day, and he said to me, well, mate, some days you're the dog and some days you're the tree. And I hadn't heard that one before. Yeah. And I said, what does that mean? And he said, well, you know, some days you're sort of up and running around and some days you just get pissed on. And I sort of went, well, in this scenario, I'd prefer to be the tree, because the dog's got to go and hunt for its food and the tree just sits there and gets rained on. And, you know, whether it's rain or pee, that's a matter of perspective. So, yeah, interesting expression. Some days you're the dog, some days you're the tree.
Very good, Jeremy. Again, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Mark hasn't arrived. He hasn't landed. No. Rhonda.
Morning. I am Rhonda Buttery, even though it says I'm Global Swap. And my business is, one of my business interests is selling and teaching people how to use astrology software. And the other part of my business is nutrition products made from food rather than petrochemical derivatives. And my thought of the day is living is the art of getting used to what we didn't expect.
Well, yes. Thank you very much. Now, May. Young May.
Oh, good morning. This is my first morning with you guys. Good morning, everyone. Nice to meet you. I'm an author and a coach from the Gold Coast, and not being prepared with a slogan or a saying, I'll just pull one out of the hat. My famous quote is, if life is a journey and death is inevitable, I'm going via the scenic route.
Very good, very good. Ken Smithy's not on the call as yet. I think a few people think it's 8 o'clock start, so we'll probably get a few more come in today. My thought, Greg Eldred from Executive Business Machines in Melbourne. Great to see you all those happy faces, even yours, Charlie. My thought for the day, the greatest thing in this world is not so much where we are, but in what direction we are moving.
Yes.
Now,
you always go backwards where you go.
What was that? Charlie, thought for the day.
Well, I tell you what, there were some very, very good thoughts in there today. The two Yvonnes were very good thoughts, and so Jeremy's. But I'm going to give it to Martin this morning, our hit and run victim. And I refused to pay the driver. He didn't do the job right. So, Martin, can you please repeat your thought?
A man with an experience is never at the mercy of a man with an argument.
Very good, Martin. Congratulations.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Martin. Now, young Jeremy.
Yes.
Are you introducing Yvonne?
I guess I am, because Stacey said no. No, Stacey didn't answer the message.
I haven't said anything. There's been no messages from Jeremy.
There has in the chat. The chat's been going off because we're all wondering where our guest speaker is that we booked in months ago, and he hasn't showed up.
I'm looking at him.
If you want to see the chat, down the bottom, you've got a little bubble that says chat. If you click that, it will be open.
Sometimes you have to click the more button first.
Click the what button first?
More, M-O-R-E.
Oh, okay.
There's more, and then there's chat. Anyway, I will introduce Yvonne, and if we just want to let her speak for 5 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever, she can just go nuts.
If Jay pops up, I'll know to stop speaking.
I think I met Yvonne at a speaker sort of, I don't know what you'd call it, like a speaker home show, trade show, where there was hundreds of speakers there. And yeah, we just like spoke for days. So anyway, it's all good. So Yvonne began her career with Microsoft, traveling from Sydney to the UK, to the USA and back again, training tech support teams. And she was determined to teach Australia how to embrace technology. She created a national media character called Ms Megabyte, who some of the older ones may remember. Yvonne transitioned to conference MC speaker, naturally evolved into a speaking coach, assisting speakers to banish nerves and leave a lasting impression, because effective and impactful public speaking can turbocharge your business and your personal brand. Mm-hmm. Let's go. Baby.
Oh, whoa. Okay, here we go. Thought you were going to give me like an over to you, Yvonne, or something like that. And now from the studio, please welcome Yvonne Adele. Okay, I'll see. I'll finish introducing myself. And there's your first tip as a speaker, is to make sure that the person introducing you has the exact wording that you want to be used to introduce you, because the technique of professional speaking is that the introduction is part of your talk. So make sure, and that's what I did. I made sure Jeremy had all of the words that I wanted him to use, except I thought he was going to say that last bit. So do you all know, or have you heard of the term glossophobia? And it sounds like a fear of sequins, but it is actually, it's actually the official term for the anxiety and fear of public speaking, glossophobia. It's such a great word, isn't it? It's a melodic word for something that absolutely puts the fear of living daylights in people. The fear of public speaking and moving house are apparently the two things that are up there just behind the fear of death. So that's pretty scary. One of the things that gets remarked upon quite often in my career as a speaker is, how do you do it without nerves? And that's just, the answer to that is, I'm just good at hiding them. Nerves are required when you're doing professional speaking, public speaking, because if you didn't have the nerves, then you're obviously not respecting your topic or respecting the people that you're speaking for and with. So I've developed a few little tips over the years that seem to help every single person who is struggling with nerves and building confidence when speaking. So I've put them in an acronym called NOW, N-O-W. And the N stands for not about you. So when you're about to prepare to get on stage or appear in front of people and do a talk, you can all recognize those feelings of the heart racing, the shallow breathing, the heat rising in your body, your face is getting hot, your mind is racing. So the first thing to remember is, this moment is not about you. You are a vehicle for the message. Now, we've got some incredible specialists here online today. We've got a crypto finance specialist, we've got real estate people, we've got sales people, we've got astrology people, we've got finance people. So, you know, you're the go-to person in your network when it comes to that area of expertise. So you've already earned the right to be the one that is speaking. Today, I was invited to speak to you about professional/public speaking, because I've earned the right to be the one that speaks on that topic, given that I have spoken and emceed for 30 something years now. So you've already earned the right to be there. Chuck that worry out. If you've been invited to speak on something, you've earned the right to be there. Now you're a vehicle for the message. Your beautiful body and your beautiful voice and your beautiful mannerisms are going to deliver this message in which you are the expert in your area of specialty. So that's the N in the N-O-W. The O is to remember to breathe out. You know that when you're feeling a bit nervous, you take all these big, beautiful breaths in. I'm going to feel better if I take a big breath in. Oh, take a big breath in. Oh, I feel better now. I feel better. And then you take another big breath in. Oh, big breath in. How many breaths in can you take before you actually you realize you've forgotten to take as many breaths out as you have taken breaths in? So everybody try it now. Big breath in and a big breath out. Make a noise. Make a noise when you breathe out. Let's do it again. Big breath in and out. This time, do it with your shoulders up on the breath in and drop your shoulders on the breath out. All right, do it again. Breath in and drop your shoulders. Breath out. How relaxing do you feel? Wake up now. This is not a good one to do when you're in your dressing gown. It's
hard on my sore neck too, Adele, Yvonne.
But it does instantly make you realize, oh, I do need to take as many breaths out as I have taken in. And in fact, making that noise has a reason as well. Making that noise stimulates the vagus nerve, which is in the back of your throat. And the vagus nerve is the one that begins to calm and relax you. That's why in yoga, we have this lion's breath, big breath in and breath out. That's a yoga breath, and that does relax you. So the O in N-O-W is breathe out. Remember to breathe out. Okay, the W in N-O-W is wiggle. Wiggle your toes. Everybody wiggle their toes right now. I am going to imagine that you're all following suit and you're wiggling your toes. Nobody can see you wiggling your toes when you've got your proper business shoes on stage. You know, I'm only dressed half up for corporate right now. I have got my thongs and and track pants on halfway down, and you when you're on stage in your proper shoes, no one can see you wiggle your toes. Now, what happens when you do that? So remember, I talked before about you can feel your mind racing, you can feel your heart going fast, you can feel your breathing has got a bit irregular, you can start to feel the heat building in your body. You can start to recognize your triggers of anxiety and your mind racing. When these things happen, if you wiggle your toes, it brings you back to the present moment. Your mind is now concentrating on wiggling your toes. Your breathing automatically starts to regulate, and then you can catch your thoughts. You can stop your mind racing. You can remind yourself, I'm about to give a talk. I am the expert in this area of specialty. I've earned the right to be here. I've got to breathe out. Everything starts to calm down. So that's N, it's not about you. O for breathing out, and W for wiggle your toes. And I'm a celebrant too. So I'm marrying people, 2 or 3 couples every weekend. And the amount of couples, brides and grooms, who are very nervous, and I'm saying in their ears, wiggle your toes, that gets them out of that nervous state and back to the present moment, looking at the person they're about to marry, and calming down and taking things like that. So that's my 3 tips for speaking with more confidence and to sort of catch yourself when you're starting to get anxious. I can go on to my next 3 tips for how to create a presentation if you want me to do more than 5 minutes. Has Jay arrived?
Yvonne, away you go. Your next 3.
Okay, fine. So you can see
Can't get Jay on phone or email. So go nuts, mate.
Okay, I like to do everything in 3s. So when you've been given the brief or you've got the job to create a presentation, you've all sat through presentations where the person who is speaking stands behind the lectern with their notes and reads word for word a script that they've written, which is great. I mean, that's an academic way of doing it. That's a lecture. And so they have spent a lot of time creating all the words and doing their background and doing their research and looking things up and writing things down. And now they've got to say every single word. Not very engaging, is it? So the problem with that is that the audience, the people that you're speaking to, they could just read the words. It may as well be a book or a handout or a white paper for them. What you're supposed to be doing as a speaker is engaging their senses so much that they then want to deepen their knowledge of the thing you're speaking about by reading that white paper that you wrote. The white paper and the script is not the thing to speak about. So the way to, after you've done all of that research and you've got that big bulk of words and, you know, you've got some graphics to go with it and some animations maybe and some photos that represent the thing that you're speaking about, is to grab a blank piece of paper. And I like to do this on a paper, like original, you know, analog paper with an analog pen, but you can do it on a computer or even on your phone. I've done it on a plane on the notes section on my phone as well. So you pick the topic that you're talking about. So say I'm going to talk about the joy of being a marriage celebrant, let's say. So at the top of the page, you put your title, and then underneath that, you put one subheading, and in the middle, another subheading, and towards the bottom, another subheading. So that if you said to me, you are only allowed to speak about 3 things to cover the joy of being a marriage celebrant. So if it was a book, if this was a book called The Joy of Being a Marriage Celebrant, what would the chapter headings be called? So it might be the day I decided to become a celebrant. And the middle one might be the joy in making people's dreams come true. And the last one might be what's next for marriage celebrants. I'm just making this up as I go along, but you can see that if I was given that topic, I can instantly tell you, because I am the expert in this area of specialty, like you are the expert in yours. So you could talk about those 3 things and then go underneath each subheading and put 3 bullet points for each subheading. So back to that first one, which was, I think it was, like, now I can't remember, the moment I chose to become a marriage celebrant. So the 3 things will be, my daughter came to me one day to tell me she was engaged and asked me to be their celebrant. The next bullet point will be, I started to uncover how that works and how, you know, I mean, in the movies, you just go online and become ordained. In American movies, you can become a marriage celebrant in 5 seconds flat. Well, in Australia, I discovered it's a cert for a proper, you know, TAFE course thingy, and it takes about a year, and I wasn't going to get it done in time to be their celebrant. And then the third bullet point might be, once I had done that research, I had discovered I was absolutely passionate about being a marriage celebrant, because this was at the exact time that Australia changed its laws to allow same-sex marriages, and I wanted to be a part of that. So see how I created those 3 bullet points. So let's do it with somebody here on this call. Who would like to workshop this with me live on a talk that they've got to do soon, or a talk that they regularly do, you know, to present to clients or something like that? No takers, no volunteers. Come on now.
What do you want to volunteer for? Sorry.
Okay, what I want to volunteer is someone to workshop with me. I will walk you through how to create a presentation outline on a page for
All right,
your business presentation.
I'll play along.
Okay, now who is that? Charlie?
Martin.
Oh, Martin, right. Sorry, I can't see all the names up the top at the moment. All right, Martin, what's your area of specialty?
Derivative trading.
Derivative trading. Okay, so do you often get asked to do a talk on that, or is it something inside that topic that you often get asked to do a talk on?
No, the answer is no to that, simply because I don't tell too many people that I do that.
And why is that?
And the reason for that is that people, excuse me, sorry, want to know so much information. And if I start sharing all of that, I'll never get anything done.
Okay, right. So this could be a really good way of us creating your elevator pitch for you. So a way that you can explain it in terms that help people become so engaged that now they're going to go off and do their own research, and you can point them in the right direction. So let's work on this then. So let's say the Beginner's Guide to Derivative Trading. That's the name of the talk. If you were only allowed to tell me about 3 parts or 3 things about derivative trading, what would those 3 subheadings be?
Take a study course, spend the time to understand it, and then action it.
Perfect. All right, so let's go to the study course part. What are some things to tell me about taking a study course?
You definitely need to do some research to find a successful trader that can teach you properly, because there's a lot of people out there in the marketplace who claim they know everything but absolutely know nothing. And there is so many unscrupulous people who say that, you know, take your money and give you very little in return.
Right. Yep. And then you might do a bullet point on whether you should be doing an online course or an in-person course or a combination of both. And you might do a bullet point on, you know, how much to expect to pay or how much you should expect to invest in the research side of your derivative trading journey. In fact, maybe you should explain what derivative trading is in the get-go. Can you explain what it is?
Well, the word derivative is a derivation of the original thing. So it's based on stocks, and I trade on the New York Stock Exchange. Such things as CFDs, which stands for contracts for difference, for example, options, E-minis, and Forex. Most people have heard of Forex. And essentially what a derivative is that it gives you the right to own the stock, but you never do. And that's the beauty of it. Otherwise, you would need a truckload of money to go and buy the stocks, whereas this is a leveraged product, and therefore you can control, and that's the appropriate word, control. You don't buy them. Control the amount of stock as a derivative so that you can trade it.
And then it goes back to its original source. So in fact, your first subheading would be what is derivative trading. The second one will be do your research and your study, which we've already covered. And what was that last original point that you gave us at the beginning? What was that last one? Does anyone remember? I didn't write it down when I said, what are the three subheadings?
Yeah, neither did I.
But that's fine. You get the point of what I'm doing here. Invest.
You've got to do the study, understand it, and then apply.
Action. Oh, action. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So give me an example. What do you mean by action? So what does that look like?
One of the advantages is available now, or has been for a while, in derivative trading is to what's called paper trade. In other words, pretend trade. So you do everything that is appropriate. It's practice trading. So you do everything as if it's real. However, obviously you're not spending any money, and learn and practice how you actually execute your trade, what it is that you're basing your trade upon, do the research, determine when and where and what actual instruments you're going to trade on. So it's a plethora of understanding of all of that. And this is the area that most people have no concept of the amount of time and effort. And I've been doing this since 2007. And so it's 15, 16 years now. Right, and it just takes an enormous amount of time.
Okay, so thank you, Martin. That was an incredibly productive example of how you can create a skeleton for the talk that is the talk you should be giving as a person who is an expert in their area of specialty. So you can all see how you could apply that to your own topic of real estate or finance or crypto or whatever it is. So the last bit in, once you've created that skeleton, and I'll ask you to be my guinea pig again, Martin, is to find a story that illustrates. So a story, we're going to paint a picture, because we are all artists, paint a picture on the air with our words, and we're going to tell a story about either a roadblock that we faced during this journey of this area of specialty, or something that shows how passionate we are about it, or a success that we had, or how we helped somebody, or whatever. Anything coming to mind, Martin? Some sort of thing that you stumbled across, or you ended up buying a house with your profits, or some sort of story that helps me understand it a bit better, something that happened to you.
Well, roadblocks are extremely common, and people don't persist because the amount of study to understand, for example, charting, and then what that means, and then use indicators or a combination of indicators.
Can you give me an example of your own experience?
What as a
roadblock that you stumbled over and then kept going, and what the outcome was?
Probably overcome them, Yvonne. So I'm struggling to remember. Yeah, it's a bit like running a marathon. You can't run a marathon unless you do the training and build up your strengths to be able to sustain over the 26 miles. So this is a marathon race. It takes, it's like anything. It's a it's an overnight success which takes 20 years.
Yeah. All right, it is a hard one to give examples of. I'm going to ask Harry, who's in real estate, if she can, because I think there might be a good example I can draw out with you, Harry. Can you give me an example of an outcome in your area of real estate? You know, a happy family, or something like that. Give me an example of what happens when you do that thing that you do. What difference does it make?
It makes a huge difference. The first thing that comes to mind is I had a house on the sunny coast where the owner was an elderly person, and the family had to get the okay from all the government departments to actually act on his behalf. And we had to jump some hurdles, and it's literally took about 6 weeks to get it on the market. And this is during COVID, when nobody can come to a house. I couldn't take anyone to the house. So it took 6 weeks, but over this 6 weeks, to get the authority to do, we were able to get their paperwork. So as soon as the paperwork hit their fingertips, we were able to then email everyone out and say, you can come at 10 o'clock, you can come at 11 o'clock, you can come at 12 o'clock. And I had somebody at the front fence saying, you can only go in one at a time. I wasn't going in with them and all that sort of thing. The other end of the story is the fellow whose house was selling died 3 months later. So it was very urgent that they sell the house for the best and highest price. And also he was ill, her father was ill, her mother was ill, and this is the niece trying to negotiate 3 older people that weren't well. She wasn't well herself. So I guess the outcome for that would be that you've got to be everything to everyone to kind of take that load off them, which is a huge responsibility actually. But yeah, that was the most emotional, physically challenging thing that I did in the last 12 months.
Good on you.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, well, thank you. Thanks for sharing that, because that's a great example of how I can now, how you can weave a story, weave a presentation together, starting with the end. And this is a thing called the Minto principle, and it was created by Barbara Minto and is used by McKinsey's all around the world, where we upend the pyramid. So the traditional presentations and speaking is all about, today I'm going to tell you about this, and we're going to cover these 3 topics, and here we go, let's talk. And then at the end, I give you a big conclusion and or my point that I want to land. What we do with more eloquent speaking and storytelling speaking, where we are going to be more engaging and more impactful, is that we land the point first. So for example, if Harry was going to be doing a presentation about, let's say it's a presentation to a bunch of people on the Gold Coast, and she's hoping to get some leads out of it, let's say, she would stand up and start the talk with, I got a call from a niece of an elderly gentleman who was very ill. And she had been given the task of selling his house in the middle of COVID very quickly, as he had only mere weeks to live. It was one of the most challenging moments of my life, but we had, red tape, we had forms and papers and everything. But my tenacity and my care for this family got me through, and we ended up one person at a time getting people through this property and selling it at the moment that it needed to be sold. So you tell the story, bam, like that. Now everyone is like, oh, wow, okay, I can relate to this. I do know someone who is elderly who had to sell something, or I can actually understand the issue of this. I can understand the urgency of it. So then you might then start with the actual usual start of your talk and say, here are the trials and tribulations of being in real estate and how I love to help. Then you go on to your 3 bullet points. So always start with a beautiful story where you're painting a picture in the air with your words that show what it's like to work with you, that show what it's like, that help people to lean in a little bit and to resonate with that thing that you are the expert of. So you're bringing them into what it's like to work with you. That's absolute gold as far as storytelling and creating presentations go. Never use bullet points on a slide. This is only in your 3x3 sort of notes. And created a little handout that that you can use. I put the link in the chat window, yvonneadele.com/swap. If you sign up there, that puts you on my speaking email list, and I've got regular tips like this and that sort of thing going out. And it's always in threes. It's the NOW for getting rid of nerves. It's the 3x3 for creating the skeleton of your talk. And like Harry's presentation will be amazing, because she's going to have all these beautiful pictures of happy families in their homes. And, you know, maybe it'll be a rundown house, and maybe they did a renovation to sell it at a better price and all this. So those photos will be on the PowerPoint presentation behind her with no words on them. It's just going to be photos that are the anchor to the thing that she's talking about. And in fact, that's what you can use instead of your script full of words on a page where you stand behind the lectern because you need something to put your notes on. Standing behind the lectern puts a barrier between you and your audience. So it's much better not to do that. And when you've created your PowerPoint slides as your anchor, as you're looking at those, either on the screen in front of you or quickly taking a glance behind you, you realize, oh, that's what I'm talking about next. And on you go. You're the expert. It's all inside you. It's your lived experience. You have to trust yourself that, you know, when you see that photo of that house, oh, that's the bit I'm going to talk about next. You might see a form, you know, that's something to do with real estate. That's the bit you're going to talk about next. So I do have to actually go in a couple of minutes, but I want to answer any questions about speaking, the difference between professional and public speaking. I know I've mentioned that those words a couple of times. Public speaking is what we're all doing, but professional speaking is when it's your career and you're getting paid to be the one who is speaking about your area of expertise, or for me, it's emceeing conferences. So any questions?
How did you transition from, get into professional speaking?
Yeah. So I was a tech head way back. I was a computer nerd. I would take computers apart, put them back together, coding, all that stuff when I was like 12 years old. And as I started to get into my career, I found that I was really interested in being like a temp office worker, like a receptionist, where I would go in and save the day, because I knew all of the word processing systems. Back then it was, 15 different word processing systems, not just Microsoft Word or Google Docs. And then I sort of moved into training. People would have me come in and train the whole staff on how to use Word and what are all the shortcuts and all that stuff. And then I caught the eye of Microsoft, and that's why I went to England, to live in England, in Winnersh Triangle in Wokingham, where Microsoft is. And I ran the tech support team there, and then went to America with Microsoft and came back. Now, because I was, a tech expert, I decided I was going to get on television and teach everyone how to love their computers, because this was in the 90s. This was 96, 97. So that was when everyone it was a big old gray box on your desk, and everyone hated it because it was too hard to work out. So I decided that, there's a finance expert, there's a vet, there's a medical person, there's a chef, there's all these different specialty people on TV, but no one who would talk about technology. So I just went bashing down a few doors until someone gave me a chance to go on TV, and I created a character called Ms Megabyte. And Ms Megabyte was the tech expert on Australian television for about 8-9 years. And I did a best-selling book and everything. And because of that, I started getting asked to come and speak at conferences, because there was not many, in fact, there were no women speaking. It was like, can you come and MC this conference full of male tech speakers so we can have a woman in between each one, that sort of thing. So that's how it naturally evolved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions?
No. Okay. Jeremy?
Yvonne?
Yeah.
Talia?
Yeah. Thank you. Oh, I loved it. It's great to see you again, Yvonne. And
thank you.
And your story of how you got in at the end, and then, beautifully explained, smashing simple structures, and you workshopped it so gorgeously. And of course, it was all unplanned, because but this is what a professional does. You step up, and I think it's been hugely valuable.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And look, honestly, I would answer questions to help people about speaking and building confidence all day long. So just email me, message me, you know, anything. Anyone wants any help, let me know. If you've got a talk coming up, let me know. I will happily do a little run through with you and give you a couple of tips. I really would happily help anyone anytime. And there's that link there if you want to grab my little download and join my mailing list.
Yvonne, it's Greg. I just want to give you a personal thank you from my point of view. You've taken my mind back a long way. I'm a lot older than you. But in the early days of SWAP, where we had to give our 5-minute presentation, or if we got invited to do the presentation, I remember my first 5-minute speak and I was ready to die. In fact, I think I did die. And everything you've shared has reminded me of the progressive steps of getting to that stage of being able to stand without a microphone, without a lectern, and being able to speak your soul. I just want to say thank you very much. It was very refreshing, and I'll subscribe and follow you. I'll haunt you probably.
I dare you. Thank you so much.
On board. Okay.
I think I'm coming back in October, so I'll see you all then. Thanks for inviting me, Jeremy.
All right, Jeremy, that's on your to-do list.
Yes.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I was just going to spend the next 5 minutes just quickly going back through the group. I'm not going back through your thoughts for the day, but I'm just going to I don't want to put you on the spot if you don't want to contribute. I'm just looking for some general group feedback on where we're at. And if there's anything you'd like to see added to the meetings, changed in the meetings, I'm just curious in getting back some it could be a critique, it could be a positive addition. So I'm just going to throw over to Charlie. Is there any contribution you'd like to share with the group, Charlie, that we need to start to do within these meetings?
Only to invite more people to the meetings. I was very pleased to see a couple of new faces on the meeting this morning.
Yeah.
But really, it's every member get a member.
Harry, can you just note these down for me if you wouldn't mind? So thanks, Charlie.
Absolutely.
Susan still there? No, okay. Martin.
Martin.
Yeah.
Martin.
Oh, do you want a thought from me? Oh, no. I don't have one. Can't pass at the moment. I'm
That's
still,
fine.
I'm still
Okay.
thinking.
Stacey, anything you'd like to throw at us? Stacey, no. Okay. May. Everybody's on mute, are they, May?
So. I was on mute. Yeah, I think everybody's forgotten that they're muted.
Yeah.
I was on mute.
Oh, who was that, Stacey?
That's Stacey. Yes, come back to me, please.
Have I missed that?
Stacey?
No. Oh, okay, good. The only thing I would like to add is I did a 5-minute talk last month, and I was just wondering if there was any interest from that or any feedback from there.
That could be conveyed back. How can we convey that back? Can we
in the Facebook group?
Yeah.
In the Facebook group? Okay, good.
Yeah, just ask the question there and people can respond.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Derek, anything from all the way over there you'd like to see in the meetings?
Yes, like more of you, I suppose. No, because I don't go to work now. You see, so as you probably heard my first speech that I made, that I was shaking like a leaf too. But after a little while, once you get into a speech like that, I think it comes quite naturally because I can talk about all sorts of things there now. You know,
Jeremy's got to book you in for a 5-minute segment shortly. So Jeremy, that's on your to get old Uncle Derek up on the screen. Okay, thank you.
Right.
And anything you'd like to throw at us, Ann Carlson?
You know, I think whoever is organizing the speakers, you're just doing a fabulous job.
That's Jeremy. I think Jeremy does need to be.
That's Jeremy.
Done. Thank you.
Even though one of the guys didn't show up, but that's okay.
Well,
I didn't realise there's daylight saving all around the world.
Yeah, well, Yvonne was a great one to just keep on going.
Yeah.
Very valuable.
Harry, anything you'd like to contribute?
I'm good.
You're good. Okay. Jeremy?
I think possibly like an agenda sent out beforehand, because I didn't know like what time Yvonne was speaking. I didn't know how long the banter goes on for. And obviously Jay, our 30-minute speaker, wanted to know what time does he come on. And I just told him, like, sit there for the whole hour and a half, basically. But some people don't have the flexibility to do that.
Actually,
So
that's one that should come to you from a committee position. So I'll take on that and make an update before the meeting.
Yeah.
Rhonda, you've always got an opinion for me.
I pretty much like it as it is. I would like to bring up a little bit of housekeeping though, and that is when people register, if you don't get a link to join the meeting within a few minutes, don't wait till we're already online to say, I can't get in. The link comes immediately after you have registered. And if you can't find it, have a look in your junk box or just make sure. And if you're on Google, you might need to look on your promotions tab because Google decides where things are going to go. But please get in touch with us straight away and say, I haven't got the link. And for those of you who are on our messenger group, it's in there. The link is always the same, but we do like people to register so we know who's going to be on and how many we're going to have. We can't put the link on Facebook. The meeting gets totally overrun with trolls who do terrible things and disrupt the meeting.
Yes.
So it's always in that Facebook messenger group. And if you're not on it, ask to join. We've got everybody on there that we can think of. So you're welcome to ask to join, and keep an eye on the Facebook group itself. But remember, we won't put the meeting link itself on Facebook. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Rhonda. Jeremy, I'm going to handball back to you for next month's speaker.
Next month
Donna's got something to say.
Who has?
Sorry, I don't know if I missed my name at some point, but only because I was looking at Yvonne's stuff, which I found really interesting. But as new people to the group, yes, Jeremy's thought of an agenda is great. But the point of global swap was never brought up. Like, what is the point? An introduction of what global swap is and how it works and why you're here, I think would have been a great intro before the speaker, just so that people are aware of what's going on. Because as new people, we were looking for something that it was all about and we didn't get that.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'll take that on for the next meeting. So that's a great contribution. So thanks.
Good one.
That used to be on the president's run sheet back in the day. So
having a correction.
And actually, you know, one thing that most of us didn't do as well is say what we do or what, you know, what we're about. So even that, I would be very interested to know for the new people, especially, you know, what is it that you know, what is your life about? Where are you from? You know, what's your story?
That's a great contribution as well. We've actually dropped that when we should. It's an important part to be into understand what everybody does, and from a networking point of view as well. So thanks for that, Anne.
Greg, that if that goes in the agenda, and I know it might expand the agenda, but putting those little notes that there's an expectation to introduce yourself and say in one sentence what you do, that's a good prompter not only to new people but to us oldies who forget that, hey, this is what we need to contribute on a regular basis.
True. Thanks for that contribution, Martin. Now, back to Jeremy. I don't know whether I've had a brain freeze. Next month's guest speaker, did you mention?
Next month's guest speaker, we have the lovely Donna Ferguson,
Thank you.
who's like a sneak preview right now. And we also have Stefan Coach, who comes to us from Savannah, Georgia.
Wow.
Thanks for that, Jeremy. And as Rhonda said, everybody keep an eye out for the notifications that go out and to book and confirm, so we know who we've got on the meeting, so I can make those people feel welcome. Last bit from me, general business. I'd mentioned to you previously that we're putting together a convention. We've appointed Catherine Palin-Brinkworth as our convention director, and her in partnership with Mike O'Hagan in the Philippines are well underway in putting the agenda together for the convention in the Philippines next February. So I'm hoping this time next month I'll be able to release full details to you. So please watch out for that. It's going to be an action-packed program in the Philippines and extremely well organised. Is there anything anybody else would like to contribute before we pull the curtain down?
Are we not doing I'm alive, I'm well, I feel great? I know that with the internet connections, it gotten a little muddled, but you know, that was such a big thing of swap.
You're a little bit ahead of me there, Anne, because I was going to get old Grumpy to come in and help me with the I'm alive, I'm well, and I feel great. Charlie Nichols, it's over to you to close and take us out, my friend.
I'll let you.
Wait, Susan's got something to say as well.
Just before we finish, I won't be on next month. I'm actually going to be on an aeroplane on 2 days' time. I'm going to New Zealand and I'll be away for 4 weeks. So I'll be in Oceania. So I'll wave as I pass Australia as I land in Auckland.
Safe travel, Susan.
Safe travels. Yeah, I haven't been back for 3 years.
Wow. Cool.
Charlie.
Greg, I'm going to let you do it this morning. I'm sitting in a cafe at the moment and I don't want to annoy everybody.
Charlie, I would love to embarrass you by fastidiously saying, Charlie, no, you have to do this.
Charlie, it's not like you to say no.
You can say what you like, Greg.
Go on, Greg.
That wasn't part of our agreement that you delegate back.
I'll hand it over to Rhonda then.
Okay. I'll pick up. All right. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm alive.
I'm well. I feel great. I'm well.
I feel great.
I'm special.
Special.
Thanks, guys. So that's the end of the meeting. Have a great month.
I can see what you mean, Greg.
We'll all come along about half a second behind each other.
Have a great month, everyone.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for your contribution this morning. See you guys.
Happy Easter.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
I thought you were still at Christmas, Charlie.
Both now.
Yeah, he's ahead of himself.
I forgot my
I have arisen. I have arisen.
Yeah, that was a real quick to go from birth to death and resurrection, you know?
Yeah. See you later.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye now.
Have a good day.